Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis, and we're really blessed to have you here. There's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning. We're glad that you're here with us. Let me introduce you to my team real quickly. Well, I should say God's team that I get to manage. First off is Faith. Faith has been my assistant since the day she was born, and she continues to be my official assistant. So if you say hi, hello, good morning, whatever, however you wish to greet us, it will be Faith that will answer you as she will for any questions. She knows me better than I know myself, so she's very accurate. So thank you, Faith, for being here.
Of course.
She's also our soloist, by the way. Wait till you hear her sing later. And then we have the wise and powerful Oz, my partner in crime since 1998. My goodness, that's a long time ago. And he was my board president for a very, very long time. Took all of his practitioner training with me. And he moved to Florida, so we lost him for a little while, but he's back on the team, and we're really blessed to have him. He is our practitioner of the day and available for our 1 minute miracle later on. So thank you, Oz, for being here. All righty. Okay, and he is having some technical difficulties, so it's a possibility that he won't be praying us in today, but we'll see what happens. I just always like to say, today we're going to be, we are continuing on with the series on my book, 10 Weeks on the Road to Prosperity, which is the metaphor of a road trip. And along the way are inspirational points where we learn some spiritual tools. So this week is the gift order stop. We're in week 9. We're almost done. There's only 10 weeks. We are going to take a break for Mother's Day. And then we'll come back and do our celebration the week after that. Ooh, I've covered up my announcements. Not that I don't know them by heart, but when you count on that, that's when you can't remember. So if you're here, please say hello, good morning, hi, however you want to greet us. When we're in a facility, I have the option of being able to look out and see who's here and be able to, address it. But on this software, I don't. So please say hi, good morning, or hello, just so we know who's here. It's kind of nice to know. All right. And if you'd like to do a watch party, there is a watch party button. It's a great way for you to introduce your friends to what we teach and for you to have conversations back and forth. And you can't bother anybody because you're at home, right? All right. So without further ado, let me turn this over. First, allow me. God. Please close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God right here, right now. For God is ever present. God is infinite, eternal, and in all things, as all things. It beats our heart. It stirs the breeze. It turns the planets. No matter what religion you follow, you're welcome here because we know that they all worship this one great being that we call God. It's all just different paths up the same mountain, the mountain of all that is. The mountain of all that uplifts and upholds us and supports us and actually moves us and breathes us. This breathing, living presence that's in me now is the same presence that's in you now. And no matter when or where you're watching, it's the same presence always. I know that this presence is uplifting and inspiring our sermon today, and I know that it is good and very good. For being part of that blessing, I give great thanks and I let it be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. So this next video, if you tune in every week, you'll know the words to the song. This is from Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver, We Are All One. And we do music from Karen Drucker every week too, which is our last song, I Am So Blessed. So this is We Are All One. If you know the song, sing it loud, sing it proud, because nobody can hear you. Can't bother anybody.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. If you're here, please say hi, hello, good morning, however you would like to greet us, just to let us know who's here. We always like to know that. When I'm in a facility, when we're in a facility, I can stand there and see who's here. And, you know, it's just kind of nice to know who's here. But with this software, I don't have any way to do that. So anyway, if you like something that you hear, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted this morning. Things are going on. Oh, it looks like my connection's going bad too. Wow, that's weird. I don't know what's going on today, but if you hear something you like, whether that's in my talk or something that Faith sings or the prayer that Oz does, hit that like button, the thumbs up. And if you love something that you hear, they have little hearts that you can send us. We love getting love. And if by some chance that something that I say just really hits home for you and really strikes you, you want to do the wow button. So I know, you know, what it is that is making everybody just boom, you know. All right. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Faith. She is doing an agape spiritual called Use Me. And it might sound like we're talking to a God outside ourselves. I just want to be clear that that's not what it is. But and it's not about, giving our power away to something else. So I like to be clear about that before somebody sings it, but it is such a wonderful song. And if you really get into it and let it just fill you, you will begin to feel it, how powerful it is as a song. So here's Faith singing Use Me.
Use me, oh God, I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think that God was the Son, God is the Son, but God's so much more than the earth, than the stars, and all of creation. God is creator, all in all. Here shine His light as me, as you, oh, use me, oh God, I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Oh, no, it's the man I am. What must I do? Command my life. It's a year for you. God is a light that fills all creation. 'Cause God is creator and makes all things new. And God needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand before you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
That was great. Thank you, Faith. I just love that song. I actually love most of the songs that Agape does. Oh, goodness. Thank you very much. Okay, so for today, we are talking about the gift order. You might wonder what that is. No, it's not a list that you give Santa. But we're going to be talking about visioning, and gift order is very important when it comes to the topic of visioning. So let's start by just saying what the difference between visualization and visioning is. In visualization, we pick an experience we would like our brain to process in a certain way. For instance, if I would like to see myself having more prosperity, I'm going to get very clear about what prosperity looks like, feels like, smells like, tastes like, sounds like to me. And once I'm very clear about that, then I'm going to, not necessarily a picture, but I'm going to visualize, whether that's a thought in your head or, writing it out or however you're going to do it. But you begin to visualize yourself doing that thing or being that thing. And visualization is an active something that you do. We're giving ourselves money in our spiritual bank account because I talked about visualization earlier on in the program. In visioning, we're being very receptive. We're opening ourselves to God's vision for, again, not God out there, but God in here. But we're opening ourselves to the vision of God for our lives. We believe in a God that's within us. So it's not like there's something out there that's deciding what we're going to do. It's not like, I decide I want to be an author and God says, oh, no, you don't understand. You're going to be a hash waitress in Kansas. Not knocking Kansas or hash waitresses for that matter. But it's not like there's a God that is going to dictate to us what our life is going to be. What the difference is that as human doings, spiritual beings that are having a human experience, we only see about this much. We only see what's right out in front of us. We only see the possibilities of what we've already created going forward. God, because it's a much larger thing than our human vision, God sees a bigger picture involving the rest of the world, but also our life too. And because of that, we are open to more possibilities if we are receptive to hearing what that, or seeing or feeling what that vision is. It's not like, oh, I better do this because God said so. It's not like that. It's just that God has that bigger view of the world than we do as human doings. And there's two aspects to ourselves. The human aspect of ourself is only capable of seeing a picture of what's directly in front of us, a very narrow vision. And we just don't see the bigger picture. The divine aspect, on the other hand, sees the bigger picture and knows that there's a greater experience for us. That's actually the urge within us to have that greater experience, and it knows more than our human awareness is capable of knowing. In visioning, we ask three questions. We ask, what is God's vision for my life? In this case, since we're working a prosperity program, we're going to say, what is God's vision for my prosperity? If we were using it for a relationship or health, we would ask, what is God's vision for my relationship? Or what is God's vision for my health? But we're going to ask, what's God's vision for our prosperity? And again, we're asking for that greater vision. We're asking for that God within to communicate with us about the bigger picture, the greater options that are available to us. The second question is, what must I become in order, what spiritual principle must I become in order for that that vision to manifest through me? Well, what happens is we have to become a receptacle for that vision. And a lot of times that will, every time it requires us to become a spiritual principle. We cannot have that which we have not yet become. If I want to be prosperous, that's why we've done all this work leading up to this, to prepare our consciousness to be prosperity, right? Remember when I talked about Greg Braden and, we aren't praying for prosperity. We are praying prosperity. We're feeling it, knowing it, hearing it, seeing it, allowing it to just consume us. That is who and what we are, is that prosperity. We are vibrating at the frequency of God in terms of prosperity. So in order to manifest God's vision through us, we must become that spiritual principle. In this case, it could be anything, but usually it has something to do with prosperity. You might get a spiritual principle like, I don't know, let's say love, for example. Even though we're working on prosperity, you might get love. But if you're working towards a relationship, probably love, or it could be any number of spiritual principles. It's really important for us to kind of understand what we must become in order for that vision to manifest through us. And then the third question always is, what must I release in order to become that vessel through which God's vision manifests? Now, for instance, if I'm to become prosperity, perhaps I have to release lack and limitation or poverty. Or it could be that I have to release a person, or I have to release a situation. Because as long as we have everything blocked off, prosperity can't find us. You see, we build a wall to keep out the bad stuff. The problem is we keep out the good stuff too. And so if you're working on a relationship, chances are that's really what you're going to have to do. Release anybody and everything that has hurt you. If you're working for health, you're probably going to be needing to release some concept or idea about health itself, like I can't be healthy because blah, 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 whatever that is. But so we go, what's God's vision for my life? What spiritual principle must I become in order for that vision to manifest through me? And then we ask, what must I release in order to become that vessel through which God's vision manifests? And that's the tool we're going to be using here. I'll be providing a guided meditation to use for visioning in a bit. But right now, let's talk about gift order, because that's how this comes into play. Gift order determines how you receive information. When we talk about our gifts, we're talking about, let's put it this way. If you're a visual person and you receive information by vision, you're going to get a picture, okay? An image of some sort. If we're talking about, if you happen to be kinesthetic like I am, you're just going to get a feeling. And if prophecy is your first gift order, you're probably going to just know something without knowing it. Like I talked a little bit about this with the pink bubble around my car. I told you someone had told me one time, when I was worried about the ice and snow on the freeway, that all I had to do was picture this pink bubble. And I spent all this time trying to picture this pink bubble, but I'm not that visual. I'm visual, but not that visual. And so I couldn't picture it. And then finally one day I realized that I was calm anyway through the process. And because of that, I realized that I had like this prophetic knowingness about that pink bubble, that I didn't actually have to see the picture. I just had to have a knowingness that the pink bubble was there and around my car. And so I began to use that. Well, people who have prophecy as their first gift order are going to get just a knowingness about something. And it's really not important whether you have a picture or you don't have a picture. One of the things my late editor, Dr. Margaret Standard, focused on was the way in which I was presenting my information, because I use a lot of visual words. We do in society. It's just part of the thing. But not being visual, she had a horrible time getting through the material until she read this chapter and realized that what I was saying was you don't have to get a picture. So it's important to know that you may or may not get a visual image here. You might get a sound, you might get a picture, you might get a feeling, or just a knowingness. And this is according to the order in which you receive information. Each individual is different as to which gift order, which order the gifts come to you. Like I said, there are 4 ways. The first is visual. That's the one we're most familiar with. A lot of people talk about pictures they see. That's pretty easy. Not everybody does see pictures. And another way people receive information is through feeling or kinesthetic. Another is through sound or being audient. And finally, through just a knowingness, which is called prophetic. In my case, my first gift in my gift order is feeling. So when I walk into a room, the first thing that happens to me is I get something in my gut about what's going on. And I used to make up these really big stories about what was going on in the room that I would walk into, go into a business meeting at work or something like that. And I'd walk into the room and my stomach would tighten up, and I'd look around the room and they all looked angry or agitated. And so I assumed they were unhappy with me. Ever have that experience? Yeah. I had to learn to use all of my gifts in order to analyze what was actually going on in the room. My second gift order is prophecy. It doesn't mean I'm a prophet. It doesn't mean anybody's a prophet. It means that we receive information without knowing how or why we know it. Things just pop into our heads. And it's really important to notice that because when I walk into a room now, I get the gut feeling, and then I just tune into my intuition to see what's actually going on. And that's that prophetic knowingness, my intuition. And that usually tells me what I need to know about the room. And then I look around and see what's going on. The last thing I do is the hearing part of it. I'm not very audient at all. That's my fourth gift in the gift order. And there's some people who are really audient. More power to them, man. They listen to music most of the time. I don't like having music when I'm concentrating because it's distracting to me. But someone who's very audient is focusing better when they have music on. And so it's really good for you to learn what your gift order is. They also learn better through attending a lecture or listening to an audiobook. It was fascinating to go to Costa Rica to the Medical Ozone Conference with Faith, because Faith is very audient and I'm not. And so throughout the lectures, I'd be like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And she'd be like, leave me alone. I'm trying to listen, because I don't hear it, like I hear it, but here's what happens to me. Somebody presents something to me, and in my mind, I start thinking about what they just said. And by the time I tune back into what's going on, I've missed like half the presentation, and that's what was happening to me. I wasn't like going, hey, Faith, let's go, party, or it wasn't like that. It was like, oh God, they would present a principle and I'd be like, oh, that's really important. We need to da-da-da. And, she's like, just, and so I had to start either writing down what I was saying or leave so that I wouldn't bother her. But that's really what happens when you're very audient, is you tune into that lecture and you're learning. Boy, she just was jamming on that information. I couldn't do it because I'm not very audient. I have to get the DVDs later and listen to it at my own pace. So I get to some subject that's really inspiring to me, and I have to stop the tape or the CD or whatever. I have to stop it so I can stop and think about it and I don't miss anything. Then I can resume after I've kind of processed what I heard. It also has to do with whether you're an internal or external processor, but by the way. But anyway, when I was in the school ministry, I'd begun taping all of my classes that were lectures, because I knew that I wouldn't retain the information and that I would space out in the middle because I'd be thinking about what they just said and miss like half the presentation. And so I started taping my classes and transcribing them. And in a 3-hour class, I would get about 15 to 17 pages typically. And I had all 3 gifts involved in the learning process. I was listening, provided the audio experience. Typing provided both the visual, seeing the typed information on my screen, and the kinesthetic experience for me typing on the keyboard. And like I said, I'd get like 15 to 17 pages from a 3-hour class generally. And we had instructors from just everywhere. And one of the instructors we had was from Denver University, DU. She taught theology and philosophy, which were very difficult subjects for me, because knowing which philosopher said which quote didn't really matter to me. Like some people really love quotes. I'm not like that. I like the quote, but I don't necessarily care who said it. I mean, I do get, there's a certain amount of that information I use, but it's not something that I want to remember exactly every single philosopher and what they said. And unfortunately, that's what the class was. And she spoke really fast. So I taped her classes and then transcribed them. And instead of 15 to 17 pages, I would get 29 pages from her for a 3-hour class. I mean, that's how fast this woman talks. She talked like this. And then I would print them out and I'd look at them the night before her class. Thank God I did that, because her quizzes were exactly word for word what she said in her lectures. We got points based on how well we memorized the material. And I was able to pass with flying colors, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was only listening to the lecture. So I say that to you to give you an idea of how you find your own gift order. My particular gift order is feeler, prophet, visual, audient. So now when I walk into a room of people, I feel the room, I tune into my intuition, and then I look around to see what visual clues I get, and then I listen to the conversation before I've made any judgments about what's going on in the room. Now, if you want to know what your first gift order is, walk into a room of people and notice the first way that you've received information about what's going on in the room. If the first thing you notice is what everyone looks like, chances are your first gift in your gift order is visual. If, like me, the first thing you notice is a feeling, then your first gift in your gift order is kinesthetic. If the first thing you notice is what people are talking about, chances are your first gift in your gift order is audient. And if you notice that you seem to just know what's going on without seeing, hearing, or feeling first, your first gift in your gift order is prophecy. Also, think about how you learn best. If reading is how you learn best, then visual is probably the first gift in your gift order. Now, these are people who can read a book and just seem to remember all of the information by just reading it. If you learn best by lectures or audiobooks, then your first gift in your gift order is probably audient. If you learn best by experiencing, your first gift in your gift order is kinesthetic. And if you seem to just have random facts available to you without knowing where it came from, your first gift in your gift order is probably prophecy. So when I structure my classes, I try to structure them with every gift order possible. So I make sure that there are exercises that people can do. Like, for instance, when we're talking about community in church, a lot of times I will take and put everybody in a circle. And I'll take a skein of yarn and I'll have everybody hold on to their piece of yarn and then throw it. Those of you who've been to church when I've done this know. And they'll throw it to another person clear across the circle and back and forth. And it just goes like that. And everybody holds on to their piece. And then at some point, you know, when everybody has a piece of that yarn, somebody will pluck the yarn and everybody in the group will feel it. And that's what is the experience of what it means to be one in the power and presence of God. But it's also an experience of community. And I designed those exercises in particular because I'm very kinesthetic, and I know that some people have to get that on a feeling level before it really sinks in what that's about. Now, I have gone to a couple of workshops where here's another case about, internal, external processing, but it's also whether you're audient, kinesthetic, is in the workshop, they'll run you through a process like a meditation, and then they'll break you up into groups and say, okay, now discuss it. For someone like me, not only am I an internal processor, but the second part of that is that I don't learn as well from the lecture. So they've lectured on something, or we've done this process where I've listened to them talk, and I need time to kind of assimilate it because I don't process it right off the bat. And I can't talk about an experience that I haven't processed yet. And so what I design in my classroom when we do that kind of thing is I will say, okay, everybody now go on a walk and come back in 5 minutes. And then we talk about it, or we journal, or we do something like that. Because I do know that everyone has their own time that they need to process the information. And some of us process it slower because we're not very audience. So what we've heard needs to be translated into something that we can utilize, and talk about. I wish I knew a resource to send to you about gift order. I don't. I've learned it through various classes that I've taken in my lifetime. The first one was a psychic ability class that I took. Miss Gigi Owens, shout out to you, girl, if you're ever listening. She's the one that sent me to my first self-esteem class too, and paid for it. She paid it forward. And it really changed my life. But the psychic abilities class that she was teaching also saved my life in a lot of ways. And what our object was to tune into someone else in the room, and they would have like an object in their hand or something like that, and we would tune into what they had in their hand. And for me, because of the way my gift order went, I would just get a feeling of what it was, and then almost like a knowingness right away what it was, and then fill it in with pictures. I never got a sound. And usually I was about 90% accurate when I followed my gift order. So that was the first class that I took that actually turned me on to what gift order is. And then the second class that I took that really honed it in for me was, again, with my PhD program I told you about in West Hollywood. That was one of the other classes that I took on the campus instead of having a DVD at home. And this class was about learning how you learn, basically. And as I went through those classes on values, and then this one on how we learn, I suddenly kind of developed in my head a real sense of how the world works, if you will, because everybody is so different. It's kind of interesting to catch on to what someone else's gift order is, so you know how to approach them with information, and you know how to elicit the right response from them because they're getting what you're saying. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you're talking and this other person is totally not relating to anything you're saying, and then you're asking for a response back that says they understand, and they can't even understand it because their gift order is different, and you have just communicated from your gift order, and so they don't know what you're talking about, so they can't respond. So if you want to elicit the right response, where not right, I shouldn't say right, there's no right or wrong, but elicit a response that says, yes, I know you heard me, you're going to need to address their gift order. So it's kind of handy to not only know what your gift order is, but to kind of tune in and pay attention to what their gift order is. And the rest of it has just been, when I was around people in the classroom, I started learning how I learned best, and took it from there. And I would watch how other people learned, and I would go, oh, I see that, this is their gift order. Their first, I usually am good about the first gift in their gift order. I can't always get the sequence of how it is, but I can usually tune into what the first gift in their gift order is, and that allows me to communicate properly to them. Now, you don't need to know exactly what your gift order is for the visioning today, but I want you to honor how you get information, so that while we're doing the visioning, you can accept whatever way the information comes to you. So when I say, what is God's vision for me? If you don't get a picture, don't disregard it or don't analyze it. Accept the information however it comes to you. Now, for those of you who end up purchasing my book, I'll be including an audio file, because when you purchase my book, it's going to be published on, it's an ebook. And I will send along an audio file so you have this visioning so that you can do it along with me. But for today, we're going to do it here. So Faith, get ready. I always have to let her know so she can switch from one mode to another. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. I'm going to lead you through a little mini meditation before we start, just to get you centered and get your head in the right space. And then we'll do the visioning with the 3 questions. Again, honor how that information comes to you. Whichever way it comes is the right way for you. I'd like you to imagine, and that means see or feel or hear or just know, that there is a big ball of light in the center of the internet. I'll change this for those that are going to be practicing this at home. But imagine that in the center of the internet is this big ball of light, and it's pulsating. Imagine it pulsing to the rhythm of your own heartbeat. You notice that the rhythm of your heartbeat is also the rhythm of the universe. And understanding that this ball of light represents the God presence in its entirety, not just the peace that lives within you, but the entirety of it. And imagine that there is a beam that is connecting you to this big ball of light. Understand that this beam represents your connection with the source of all beingness, God. And imagine that we are connected to every person participating in this process through the beams that create sort of a wagon wheel of lines that connect us all to that ball of light. Notice that the ball of light begins to increase until the room you are in is entirely filled by this ball of light, encompassing you and everyone and everything in the room. Notice that it increases in size until it fills your entire house. There are no separate rooms or any objects that are different from one room to the next. There's only this ball of light. Now notice that it has increased once again and it fills up your neighborhood. There's no longer separate houses. Only one big ball of light that encompasses all houses and their occupants. Notice that all the physical boundaries of our humanness becomes an outline, a sort of watermark on a page. Gives us some definition of who we are. Gives us some definition of who we are, but the boundaries themselves, the physical limitations, are now gone. Enlarge this ball one more time to include the entire area. That's homes and businesses. Notice that there are no longer any separate businesses, only the one business of God. Enlarge it again to include the city that you live in. And notice now there are no separate neighborhoods, only the one neighborhood of God. Enlarge it again to fill the state that you live in. No individual cities, only the one big ball of light that is God. Enlarge it once again to encompass all of the country that you live in. Notice there are no longer any states or provinces, only the one big ball of light. Enlarge it again to encompass the earth. No countries, only the earth as God. And we offer this soothing balm of God's love here to all of the world. Know that anyone, anywhere, can reach in and accept that soothing balm to heal. With everything that's going on in the world, it is so necessary. Just offer that to anyone or anything that needs to claim that healing balm. Enlarge it one last time to include the entire universe. No countries, no planets, only God. Enlarge it until our awareness sort of sits above it all and we take what we need for healing as well. The unconditional love of God flows through it, through all of it. Keeping our eyes closed, realize that you can return here anytime you want to experience this again. It lives within you, this ability to do this. So right now, I'd like you to imagine that your consciousness is now traveling back into this room on a beam of light. Keeping our eyes closed, keeping in this meditative state, having experienced this unconditional love of God, we now know that that powerful presence within us loves us absolutely. It has only the best and highest intentions for us. Because we have this experience, and we now ask this very serious question, what is God's vision for my prosperity, or my health, or my relationships? What is God's vision for my prosperity, what is God's vision for my prosperity, my health, or my relationships. What is God's vision for my prosperity, or my health, or my relationships? If you find yourself planning, just say thank you and return back to the question. Again, it doesn't matter how you get the information. If you get symbols or colors or a picture or a sound or just a sense of it. A feeling perhaps. Give a moment to rest. What is God's vision for my prosperity? And now taking that information and putting it in your spiritual pocket for a moment, knowing that you will use it later. We ask ourselves this next question. What spiritual principle must I become in order to manifest God's vision through me? What spiritual principle must I embody in order for me to be that vessel through which God's vision manifests? What spiritual principle must I become in order to manifest that vision of God for my life, for my prosperity, for my love, for my relationships, for my health? What spiritual principle must I become in order to manifest that vision of God through me? Again, it can be a word, a picture, a feeling, a sound, just a general knowingness. Let it come however it wants. What spiritual principle must I embody in order to be that vessel through which God's vision manifests? Now take that spiritual principle and stick it in your spiritual pocket for later use, knowing you can retrieve it at any time. And ask yourself this very important question. What must I release in order to become that spiritual principle so that I can manifest God's vision through me? It could be a feeling, it could be a person, a situation, an object. And again, it could be a feeling, a thought, a word, a sound, a feeling, a knowingness. What must I release in order to become that spiritual principle that allows me to be that open vessel through which God's vision manifests. What must I release? And you're going to take that idea and put it in your spiritual pocket. Because in the knowingness of God's power and presence, in the life of God that is in and through everything and everyone, I know that that's where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom that lives within me, that is God. So I know that to be so for Faith and Lynn and Oz as we walk through the actions that support the vision of God through us. As we support the message of God that is conveyed every Sunday. For we are one. I know that it also is true for every person who's watching this, whether it be in real time or later on. For there's no place where one person leaves off and the other begins. We are all one. Mitakuye Oyasin. So my heart just fills with gratitude right here, right now, as I accept the information in their names. I call it good and very good, and my heart fills to brimming with gratitude. And I just let it be. And so it is. Amen. Okay, once again, we're running a little bit close on time. So, because it is important to cement in the information that you gleaned from this, you can either put it in the comment field, the answer to all three of those questions, or if you don't want it to be public, you can message me and just let me know what you got. It's a really good way to cement it in, like I said. Otherwise, it could just kind of go off into the ethers. So you want to do that. With NLP, we always say like cement it in like this, but it's good for you to cement it in. And I'm just going to keep talking while you do that. I'm not going to wait for anybody to answer because we are running very over. I want to say at this moment that this is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express your gratitude for that which you have received and that which you may have created in the mind of God but have not yet experienced in physical form. Those of you who are participating in the program, you're going to give 9% today. We're almost to that 10% mark. You're going to give yourself $900 for doing that. Good. Okay. And you're going to give yourself the 9%, the amount of whatever the 9% is that you're giving today. Please don't go backwards. If you're already giving 10%, don't go back to 9%. Give it the level that you've been giving. We are stepping up to that tithing. And so I want to let you know you're getting $100 for being here this morning. You're going to keep doing all your spiritual practices and give yourself money for that. And you're going to do $900 for giving 9% today and 9% of your income to yourself in your spiritual bank account. All right. And so go to oasiscsl.org. And about 2/3 of the way down there is our offering affirmation. And then underneath that is the Contribute Now button. Doesn't matter whether you're watching this now or in real time, you can say that offering affirmation with us. Faith has put the website up on the screen as well as in the comment section. So let's go down to about 2/3 of the page and say that offering affirmation with me, please. This perfect gift is spirit in form. circulating a blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. All right. We have this wonderful ministry of prayer that if you would like prayer for something, you can at this moment put it in the comment section. If you want it to be private, you can message one of us and let us know what you would like. And Faith will add that to our private Facebook group page where the God Squad, that's what we call our prayer team, is the God Squad, we'll pray on those requests every day for a week. So take advantage of this loving service they provide and know that our licensed practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance as well. You will be able to message them, and then you can arrange with them through PayPal or Cash App or Venmo how you want to pay for that. I don't know who has what apps, so I don't know who to say has this app or that app, but you can arrange it with them, and then they'll reach out to you at your appointed time by a video chat. Today we have Oz available for our 1 minute miracle at the end of the service here. It's not a time for counseling. It's a time where you can let him know whatever situation or condition you are experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. You reach him through video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, know that he's on the phone with someone else, and just wait a few minutes and get back with him. So if you would like to be a participant in our God Squad, God bless animals. They do their own schedule, man. Buddy, not now. Thank you. Sorry. You don't have to be a licensed practitioner to participate in our God Squad. If you are willing to keep the requests confidential, you are willing to do affirmative prayer on those requests every day for a week, and you follow through on that, you could be a part of our God Squad. So type yes in the comment field, and Faith will add you to that private Facebook group page. I don't know. Now Daisy's over here too. Yeah, everybody's like, she should be done by now. She's running over. Oh, and animals are funny. Yeah, she's right here. All right. And if you would like to be part of our online community, type more in the comment section, and Faith will add you to our Facebook group page that is public. And you'll get information before anyone else gets that information. For those of you who don't know why I'm making a face, Daisy is older, quite a bit older, and she has cancer, and she doesn't smell very good. I love her very much, but oh my God. So when she comes over here and breathes on me, I'm like, That's the only reason it's an issue. So anyway, if you'd like to get information before it goes public, you can participate in our online community by just typing more in the comment field there. All right, we have a couple of people that we want to acknowledge their companies here. One is Brooks and Bailey. All the proceeds for mala beads and bracelets go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue. You can get a hold of her through brooksandbailey0307@gmail.com. Here's what the bracelets look like. She has a lot of different, let's see where we got that. She has a bunch of different ones, but this one is one that she sent me. And this is like, I love this clasp. I don't know if you can see the clasp. Can you see it? It stays on pretty well. I've only had it drop off of me once in several months. And that was only because I didn't have the thing done right. So yeah, order from her. She's great. Also, we have Faith doing hers.
Yep, we have intention jars and bath salts, so definitely check it out. Some of these intention jars can help you with what you're manifesting through this program, so definitely see what we've got. Prices range from $7 to $45.
Okay, thank you, Faith. And here's here's the intention jar for prosperity that she made for me. That one's $15, by the way. All right. I want to let you know that Reverend Fairy Elaine Silvers, I can't get used to putting Reverend in front of her name. Her music is available on her website. However, you do have to contact her. She does travel around a lot singing. So you have to contact her by email to find out where to send the money to. Karen Drucker also has a website. All of this information is in the comment section, and Faith is putting it up on the screen right now. That's Elaine's. Okay, there we go. And so Karen Drucker, you can order directly from her website by song, by CD, songbook. Some of her songbooks even have American Sign Language. So, all right. And then check out our website at www.oasiscsl.org. We have past sermons. We have current sermons. We have all the information about our church and what we do. And when we have classes, we announce it there. Of course, after we announce it on the Facebook page that's public. So anyway, check it out. I know you'll be happy to see it. All right. And then if you know the words to this song, our final song, sing them loud and sing them proud, and know that this is a great meaning to carry with you for the rest of the week. So listen to it and sing it as best you can.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
And as we go into the week, I know the blessings of God follow through us, in us, as us. I know these blessings are ever present and fully abundant, and I let this perfection roll forth. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. Thank all of you for being here. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning, and we were blessed to have you here with us today. We love you. Wear a mask, stay safe, and get your vaccination. We love you. See you next week, 10:30 a.m. for our Mother's Day celebration Sunday. It is really different than our normal Sundays, so you want to tune in. See you later.
Take care.
Bye.